mark of 5 or nearly 5. Yes, but if it wasn't if it wasn't at 4.2, could it have gotten to 4.5? Where did it? Yes, that's the point I'm making. If it hadn't gotten to 4.2 by January 2017, would we be at 5? No. The truth is that the 4.2 itself was a mark of a disaster of an economy. Check the cedi depreciation rates under the Mahama and Mills administrations and do the comparative analysis by checking the rate of depreciation under this administration in 22 months. That's how you do it. Because I never imagined that the cedi could be arrested to the extent that there would never be depreciation.
Well, that's what the vice president said.
But that is what the NDC also said. The same thing. And we all know that the truth of the matter is that because of the structure of our economy and the way it has been integrated into the international economic system, it will be difficult to actually get a situation where you will be bringing, the city will be appreciating consistently. It does off and on.
But the vice president should know this.
But the Mills administration and Mahama too should have known.
Yeah, but he's the one who made the
I am saying that, Randy, in their own book, Overview of Better Ghana Agenda,
yes,
which they were treating
which year was this?
This is 2012.
Okay.
April 2012.
Yes.
And this was to display and celebrate their achievements. Arrested, this is their own word. They were telling us strong economy for real jobs. And they said they had arrested the depreciating city and made it stable for the longest period in our history. This is 2012. Now go and check the 2014 exchange rates, the financial year supplementary estimate presented to Parliament, and find out things that went on. Mr. Speaker, I'm quoting Tekwe. Mr. Speaker, the cedi depreciated by 26.7% between January and June 2014. This is after post-2012. But remained relatively stable during the second half, depreciating by 4.5%. The cumulative depreciation for 2014 was 31.2%, compared with 14.5% in 2013. In the Forest Bureau market, the cedi depreciated by 27.6%, 24.5%, and 20.2% against the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro respectively. This compares with the depreciation of 16.3%, 17.5%, and 19.3% against the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro respectively in 2013. I've always, and you will bear me witness here, that the problem we had politicized and mystified the cedi foreign exchange rate politics. We had done that. You recall when the Bank of Ghana incident happened. And I insisted that the way forward was the depoliticization and demystification. And considering, accepting the reality that until and unless the structure of our economy undergoes some transformation, we will continue to live with this matter. Look, in the unlikely situation of an NDC administration taking over, they will be confronted with the same challenge. Go and check their campaigns. They attacked the Kufuor administration for not holding the cedi in check. And so 2009, when they took over, they advertised that one of their objectives was to hold the cedi in check, to arrest it. And that's why in the 2012 we found expression in their overview. Subsequent to 2012, what happened to the cedi? By the time they were exiting from office, what was the cedi rate? As I said, 4.2. The depreciation relative to, compared to the Kufuor period, was huge and deep. So that was a sign of failure if it was. So I'm saying, what is the business coming to tell me that the thing is 5% now? So it's a failure.
You mean 5 cedis?
5 cedis. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. 5 cedis. Well, not exactly 5 cedis, but it's close. I'm saying that you are no good. You are no better, rather.
But if somebody promised better, if somebody said...
You promised better. That's the point I'm making here. This was what? Better Ghana agenda.
Just listen to me. Yes. I'm saying that if in 2016 somebody promised better, in 2016 somebody pointed to the currency and said that it was testament to bad economic management, bad leadership. It showed that they were clueless with respect to running the administration, and that give us the opportunity. We will do better. We will do better. We will stop what is happening.
And that was not the first time I was hearing somebody say
that. I'm not saying first time, but I'm saying that in view of all the historical backgrounds, all the things about structure of the economy, a reason that you, a non-economist, sees that it is senseless for anybody to be talking about arresting the city when the fundamentals of our economy has not changed. Yet you have people who have professional expertise that you don't have.
Yes, but the people who were also saying to Kufuor and the NPP administration that they hadn't handled the city well and that they had the expertise and competence to handle it well came in, and by the time they were exiting, the city was 4.2. They were also experts. They were not just people like me. No, I'm nobody in terms of economics, financial management. But I'm saying that the people who led the NDC campaign relative to, we are talking here specific, foreign exchange rates, were experts. They were bankers. They were economists. And they said they promised better. And indeed, it was better Ghana agenda. And by 2012, they were telling us that, look here, we have arrested the city. Only that they didn't add that they have kept it in cells and given the key to the IGP. But it's virtually the same thing. Baumia brought in a certain element of humor, which you can use against him. That's his own headache. But the bottom line, substantively, both sides were saying they have arrested. The word arrested is the operative word here. The city, meaning that depreciation of the city, we have kept it below. Or at least...
So nothing has changed?
Yes, to that extent, in terms of that. But that's the point I'm making. Maybe you're not getting my drift. The point I'm making is
I'm getting your drift. My only point is that if we want to use issues of 5 years earlier to justify why there's no big deal about what's happening today.
I'm trying to show the inconsistency across the political divide. The lack of principles across the political divide relative to economic management and issues. That's what I'm trying to point out. That's the key. And you know, that's what I've done all the time on this platform. So that's the point I'm making. The point, the communication that comes with selective amnesia, the pretense that we didn't do that ever. Give us a chance, we will cure the mischief. Then I ask you, okay, what's your track record? And your track record shows that you use the same language, you made the same agitation, you claimed you had the better solutions to the problem, but when you got it, you failed. So now, what do we do? If you want to just be a bit of a moderate, you look at, okay, percentage depreciation. But I'm saying that that's not the way forward. Because in terms of percentage depreciation, oh, yours depreciated by 20%, mine by 15%. So what?
The fundamentals remain the same.
The fundamentals remain the same. That's the key point I'm making. Now, I haven't finished. Unless he wants to
go on. I want to say something. No, just hold on.
I don't mind. With the CD one. See, now you talk of the one district, one factory. I've been listening quietly to all the arguments. That, oh, they have come in power and they are adding existing factories to the package. That's another angle that has come up. Randy, if this government had not adopted the idea of adding distressed and existing factories to this program, I would have said it's a highly irresponsible government. And indeed, in doing the repackaging, they didn't hide it. They went to Parliament and placed it before Parliament. It's in the Hansard. If you want to find out.
Can you repeat that again?
I said in doing the redesigning of in terms of adding distressed existing factories to the package.
So in redefining what had been promised.
Yeah, yes, because if you read the manifesto,
yes,
there was no hint that existing factories that are distressed will be part and parcel of the program of 1D1F.
Because we've always known that as stimulus packages.
Yes, but I'm saying that
yes,
it's obvious, it's not in the manifesto.
Yes.
And when you are looking at governance and government, there's room for that redefinition or redesigning. And where best to do that before the House of Parliament. It's on record before the legislators, to that extent, to the public. And it's well documented in the Hansard, June 20th, 2018, and November 7th, 2018.
So the June one will be the supplementary of the 2018?
Yes.
And then the 2019 will be what was just read last month?
Yes, but I'm not talking the budget. I'm talking of the minister.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking budget.
The Minister of Trade going to Parliament?
Going to Parliament.
Okay.
To answer questions on the 1D1F.
All right.
And the minister putting out the policy documents and things relative to 1D1F before the House. And answering questions and explaining the issue of government deciding to identify some particular existing but distressed factories and bringing them within the context of 1D1F was articulated and presented to the House. It's not like some mischief or some hidden agenda. Because when I listen to people who are criticizing that, the idea is as if they have not even been bold enough to tell the world that, look here, this is the situation we find ourselves in. And the truth is that there's a positive element, apart from the fact that those factories are being given a lifeline to rehabilitate and to regrow. You know, the 1D1F comes also with some packages, incentive packages, tax waivers and all those things. So if you are brought within that context, those existing distressed factories could be beneficiaries of some of those packages. Bottom line, what are you seeking to do? What is actually the 1D1F about? It's the question of industrialization of the country. That's what it is. That's the philosophy. So they decide that this is the way to do it. Let me give you a classic example of what the Mahama administration also did. The 200 community day schools. As we sit here, everybody still thinks that the Mahama administration announced that it was building 200 community day schools. Is that not so? Between 2013 and 2016. Go do the checks. They ended up signing contracts for 124 and decided to deal with that. Fortunately, if you go into an IMF document, and I say that's a public document too, it's not the same as Parliament. But I grant, I'm charitable enough to concede that in actual fact, the government, the administration, whatever it was, I don't know, I don't have to speak for them, but it appears they abandoned the 200 project and decided to do 124 in collaboration with the World Bank and the IMF. In communication to them, this is what they said. We are doing 124. In communicating with Ghanaians, they said they are doing 200. Even in the handing over notes, they indicated that they were doing 200 but have succeeded in delivering 47 in their own handing over note. But in the notes, communication with the IMF, they say, look, we are doing 124, 23 of which was World Bank funded.
Was the 124 not with respect to contract that they had signed?
That's all they signed. They never signed any contract beyond 124. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
By the time they were exiting office, they had signed contracts for only 124. Nothing beyond that. And the 124, 23 of it was World Bank funded. So it means that the Mahama administration intended to execute 101 and not the 200. And this is documented in communications between the Ghana government, the World Bank, and the IMF. I said, I saw nothing wrong with that. That's my view. Indeed, my position was that even if they executed 50 out of the 200, it was a plus for me. They ended up actually now deciding to execute 101 government of Ghana funded and 23 in addition, but World Bank funded. That's 124. Here we are talking of communication, integrity of communication. Because that's what I get, the hint I get when people take on the MPP relative to the 1D1F in terms of bringing on board existing and distressed factories.
The impression I get,
yes, tell me your impression,
is that if you take the Ministry of Trade, for example, issues of stimulus packages for companies, it's always existed.
Yes.
And for example, one of the companies that is mentioned, Entrance Pharmaceuticals, was one of the beneficiaries of the EXIM.
Yeah, maybe you are not getting my point. There's still.
No, let me finish. You get me.
Okay.
So, the point is that providing stimulus packages for existing companies is something that has always existed.
True.
Now, bringing that under 1D1F and labeling them as 1D1F.
No, that's you got me wrong.
Right.
That project, that line of helping distressed factories still remain. There are hundreds of them out there. And they are there, and some are benefiting, but they are not part of 1D1F. What the government is saying is that they have selected particular, like Pualugu, Aveime, those they've identified some existing distressed factories that they have brought within the context of 1D1F. Not all factories that are distressed. There are still factories out there that are distressed but are not part of 1D1F but are receiving stimulus. So it's not mutually exclusive, the point I'm making. There's a conscious decision that some particular...
What makes them different?
No, they've done a study. Maybe there are...
So I'm saying those that they put under 1D1F and labeled them as such, and those that are not, what makes them different?
I don't have the full... details, but the point is that if you read carefully, they are suggesting that there are some particular factories that have a certain potential in terms of value addition, that if you were to quickly help them, if you are looking at your vision of the industrialization and the question of reducing the import bill and the impact it will have, impact assessment, if you did that, selected maybe 10, 15, 20 of those particular factories and brought them within the umbrella, not the NDC umbrella, the umbrella.
And under the elephant.
And that they will suffocate. You know, then at least in terms of your vision and mission, after all, is the end goal that is important. What is the impact that you seek to make on the level of industrialization in Ghana, on value addition? So, yes, it's a government decision, it's a policy. You have decided. You cannot bring all those distressed factories under the umbrella of 1D1F because they have different levels of potential, different levels of impact that they will make on the economy. You are looking at also time. All those brought together, strategically, the government decides that I have identified these particular factories that are already in existence. And they haven't hidden that. They've told Parliament. The key point is the transparency. They've told Parliament that these projects, we have decided to bring them within this contest. And they have just